One of the first episodes I recorded when I launched this new series this year, doing videos that are basically taking deep dives back into the Hicks family archives, strange as it seems archives. One of the first episodes we did was on ice skating. I found a couple of folders, one on ice skating men and the other on ice skating women, and did what I thought was a pretty in-depth look at all the strange and unusual facts about ice skating that would be found in the Strange As It Seems archives. But lo and behold, I was digging back in the archives, and what did I find? Yet another folder on ice skating, this one labeled Ice Skating Miscellaneous. So apparently, as far as strange and unusual stories about ice skating go, that was just the tip of the iceberg. Welcome back. This is Jeff Hicks, curator of the Strange As It Seems archives and grandnephew of John Hicks, who created Strange As It Seems back in the late 1920s. So for this week's episode, let's glide back into the weird and wacky world of ice skating, as illustrated and told in the treasure trove of Strange As It Seems archives, beginning with this one at the top of the folder. Apparently a skating rink built in a glacier. It was carved from solid ice. This is January 4th, 1939. 2 miles up the Jungfrau, the Swiss mountain, it contains a bar, an office, a storeroom, and a museum. Great article here from the Illustrated London News with lots of fascinating photographs of the skating rink within an alpine glacier. In the world's greatest skate collection, 772 different kinds of ice skates collected by Dietz, Milwaukee civic leader. He was quite the collector. In fact, I think he's also maybe even better known for his typewriter collection at the Milwaukee Public Museum, where he has hundreds of business machines and typewriters as well. Extraordinary collector here. Dietz from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And an interesting fact here, too, the world's record, at least at the time, this was actually from the time of my grandma Elsie in the 1950s, maybe 1954, but the world's record for skating 100 yards is 1/10 of a second slower than the record of running time for the same distance. This is when Charles Jutran had 9.4 seconds for 100 yards skating, and Mel Patton had a record of 9.3 seconds for the 100-yard dash in running. Strange as it seems. I always knew I couldn't be an ice skater. I kept getting cold feet. And the world's longest skating contest, Holland, holds that distinction. Holland's 11 Cities race, which links 11 Frisian towns in a day-long trek over a 120-mile course. And we have a letter here from 1955 from the Netherlands National Tourist Office, proving that it is indeed true that the world's largest and most grueling skating contest is in Holland's 11 cities. This contest is held every winter, if and when a long freezing spell closes the canals and rivers along this course with thick ice. Apparently the race was started back in 1909, Holland's 11 cities skating race. And as I dug a little further into this folder, what I came to realize is this was actually a folder put together, it looks like originally by John Hicks. It might have gone into the Ernest and Elsie Hicks era a little, but it was basically 3 different John Hicks scrapbooks, 2 of them on ice skating that he had put together, but one on roller skating as well in here, which we'll get to here in a minute. But that's pretty much what these stories are, it looks like, in this folder. So the first John Hicks scrapbook from December 13th, 1936, was titled Marvels on Ice, and had quite a few stories. It looks like, too, I think this was started, or at least inspired. I found here a New York Sun from 1929, which would have been the first year of Strange As It Seems, and I put it in protection here because it's really pretty extraordinary. A whole bunch of there are many different ways of getting someplace in a hurry on skis. The ski's the limit to what you can do is at the top, but other skiing, I guess it's really Winter Joys is what it was called. And at the center is the 16-year-old Sonja Henie of Norway. Pretty fascinating. And then she is featured here as well, the Queen of Skaters. And this would have been 1936. So looks like about 7 years later, Sonja Henie won the World's Figure Skating Championship 10 years ago at 14 years old. Crazy, even before that article was published. The great Sonja Henie, Queen of Skaters. And another really amazing female skater was Miss Megan Taylor. She won the Figure Skating Championship of England at the age of 11. And I've got some really fascinating. Here's a 1932 comic strip featuring Miss Megan Taylor. And I think this was the actual age. She was 11 years old and was actually in the Olympics, it looks like, at Lake Placid, New York. Here's a pretty cool Olympic Games next month. The Olympic Winter Games, comprising 7 sports, will be held at Lake Placid February 4th to the 13th. And there's the 11-year-old Megan Taylor, also Roger Turner, Margaret Bennett, Gillis Grafstrom, Irving Jaffe, and Maribel Vinson. Great Olympians for the 1932 Lake Placid Olympics. Kind of amazing. It looks like we also have another C.T. Gillespie here. This is from 1932, also featured in the 1932 John Hicks scrapbook. Apparently he skated 3 miles backwards in 10 minutes and 14 seconds. Crazy. C.T. Gillespie. And there was also Edmund Lamey. I had quite a few of these. Apparently this was quite a thing. And here's the original comic strip from, this is from 1935. But he made a running broad jump of 25 feet 7 inches on ice skates. Really long jump. More to come as this kept going. That was the apparently the record in 1913, but quite a few more jumpers to come. And then, of course, Oscar Matheson of Norway. He set an amateur world speed record for 500 meters. It stood for 15 years. Then he broke it himself in 1929. So that kind of wraps it up for the 1936 Marvels on Ice John Hicks scrapbook. I bought an old pair of rollerblades recently at a garage sale, and some might call me a cheapskate. Oh, and the final one that fell out as I was putting these away that I missed at the top left, Richard Cole of Brockton, Massachusetts, apparently has used the same skates for over 60 years. Crazy. Richard Cole of Brockton, Massachusetts. And then in 1942, John Hicks put together another scrapbook, and that's where a bunch of these stories apparently come from. And this was simply titled On Ice, published, looks like January 4th of 1942. Another series of extraordinary stories, not the least of which we featured in the first episode we did on ice skating, which is the fact that ice skaters do not skate on ice. Crazy enough. We explained it in the first episode, but basically the skates form a thin film of water that then freezes after the skater passes by. So technically, skaters skate on water, not ice. Crazy. You know, I tried ice skating on a lake once, but I fell in and nobody helped me at all. Everybody just stood there laughing at me, which was kind of embarrassing, but worst summer vacation I ever had. And more interesting stories here. Looks like this one about Chester LaVere, pretty amazing guy from Chicago. He only started skating for the first time at 52 years old. Looks like John Hicks published this back in 1931. But at 55 years old, only 3 years later, he finished just 9 minutes off the mark behind the world's champion in a 100-mile race. The amazing Chester LaVere of Chicago. I found this article on Chester LaVere. Looks like at his 58th birthday. It's fine to be young, said Chester LaVere, as he celebrates his 58th birthday and his divorce from his third wife by skipping rope 15,000 consecutive times for a world's record. So he just missed the mark in ice skating and decided to get a world's record jumping rope. The amazing Chester LaVere. What do you call a roller skater that never falls? A liar. And even more on Chester LaVere and the skipping rope. Looks like he was featured in this fascinating article here that was in, what magazine is this? Strength magazine or Strength? It looks like more like a newspaper, but this whole article was cut out. And on one side of it is great. It says, why drink? Even if prohibition has failed. But this was also featuring Chester LaVere at the age of 58. I guess this is the article back in 1931 where John Hicks found the information on him and some other fascinating tips. A proper diet means more than exercise, and all kinds of things from the 1931 Strength magazine article here in the Strange As It Seems archives. And continuing on with the amazing jumpers featured in this 1942 John Hicks scrapbook, we have Leon Grebe. It looks like the original comic strip was in 1935, but he's from Milwaukee. He high jumped 3 feet 8 inches while ice skating backwards. Crazy. Leon Grebe from Milwaukee. And then there's also J.F. Donahue. I think we featured him in that first one as well. I think he and maybe his sons were all champions, but in this case, this is showing that J.F. Donahue, he ice skated 100 miles in 7 hours, 11 minutes, and 38.2 seconds. Crazy feat there by J.F. Donahue of Stamford, Connecticut. Skater's gonna skate. And continuing on with the amazing jumpers on ice skates, in 1942, here we have Carl Milne, who jumped a row of 14 barrels in Albany, New York, 1931. And here's the original comic strip, and looks like the midweek pictorial picture of Carl Milne covering quite the distance there. And then I found a little later, looks like my grandma Elsie had tucked this in, but this is from the 1950s, and we have Leo LaBelle of Lake Placid, New York, and he won the 1955 World Barrel Jumping Championships with a little bit further, 15 barrels instead of 14, so a jump of 15 barrels, 28 feet 7 inches. And by the way, his sister Aldrina, she defended her women's World Barrel Jumping Championship too by jumping 8 barrels, 18 feet 3 inches in the same meet. And we have here a letter from the Lake Placid Chamber of Commerce in 1955 from James Sheffield, the president, corroborating both facts here for Strange As It Seems. And the final fact from this John Hicks scrapbook from 1942, apparently the first all-steel skates cost $30 a pair. Wow, $30 is a lot of money back in 1942, huh? Made by E. Bushnell in Philadelphia. It goes all the way back to 1850. Crazy enough. First all-steel skates. And for the third and final John Hicks scrapbook from this amazing folder just recently found in the archives as well. This one's on roller skaters, interestingly enough, in the ice skating miscellaneous folder, but all the amazing facts on roller skaters, and this goes back to, looks like 1938, in January of 1938. We have the amazing Ethel Bessie. She was 21 years old. She roller skated 447 miles in 60 hours. She went from Seattle, Washington to Grants Pass, Oregon. Here's the original comic strip. Looks like back from 1934. The amazing Ethel Bessie. And here's one that didn't make it into the scrapbook, but fascinating. Fred Mathis. This goes back to, looks like the early days, 1930. Fred Mathis, Greenville, South Carolina, Apparently he roller skated continuously for 100 hours and 30 and a half minutes. And it shows the article here that Fred Mathis, it was believed at the time to be a world's endurance record, but I guess he went to sleep and toppled over, and that's how he wanted to continue on, but apparently his seconds wouldn't let him continue. And there's also a cool letter here from the Aristocrats of Tented Skating, Lowe's Amusement Company from Kansas City, Missouri. Also where the fact here about Fred Mathis came from. And I love this too in the old John Hicks comic strips, which at the bottom, if you don't believe any of this, write to the author for proof, which is what John Hicks challenged when he first launched Strange as It Seems, and really why all these archives are such a treasure trove, because all the proofs are in here along with the comic strips. So let's get back to it. We have John Balaza here. Looks like he went 1,100 miles in 231 hours. Talk about endurance. This one made the record on roller skates without ever stopping to sleep. And here it is from 1931, the original comic strip about John Balaza from Elyria, Ohio. And another featured roller skater, Jesse Carey from Philadelphia. Here's a guy who went 297 and a half miles in a single day, which means he averaged over 12 miles per hour. He did this in Paris, apparently, in 1910. Here's the original comic strip from 1934. A nice full-color photograph of Jesse Carey, and it looks like he was part of 3 generations of roller skating champs. We have here Jesse Carey along with Malcolm Carey and Malcolm Carey Jr. So turns out that was quite the family affair. They had great 3 generations of roller skating champs. And keeping in with the families, this is the final one here on roller skates. This family's amazing. I've seen them pop up several times here in the Strange as It Seems archives. But down here in the corner, the fact was Wilma Walker from Phoenix, Arizona. She was skating when she was only 15 months old. Here's the original comic strip from 1933. But this family was really extraordinary. And I have here an amazing article, and I probably should frame this. It's pretty incredible, but it's called The Child Sampsons. And just amazing newspaper article here. Any father can do what I have done, says Scotty Walker. He raised all of his children to become all-round athletes. So they were amazing. 3 charming specimens of healthy womanhood. Mother Walker in the center with her 2 athletic daughters, Martha and Wilma. And my favorite one, this was featured in the Strongman episode earlier, but there's a picture here of Sonny Walker, his son, lifting up Babe Ruth. How's that? There's Babe Ruth right in the middle, up on Sonny Walker's shoulders. He was so strong he could lift Babe Ruth up on his shoulders. The amazing Walker family, Strange as It Seems. And then the final one, I didn't see it in the scrapbook, but I did want to finish with this one because this was pretty amazing too. We got a picture here, almost faded of it, but Billy Curtin from Chicago, he was spinning on roller skates, supporting a man's weight with his teeth. So what an amazing folder. Love going through these, love sharing them with you. That wraps it up for this week's episode. If you like strange and unusual stories and going back in the archives of old classic comic strips, there's also movies and radio shows here on the YouTube channel. But click the bell to subscribe. Drop me a like, drop me a follow. Let me know what you'd like me to tell stories about. I'll keep digging in the archives and bringing you more and more stories every week from the amazing annals here. It's Strange as It Seems.